Hi, my dear friends. Drew and I are just talking here. Oh, Drew and Chris are moving to New York City, right where the fun is. Well, I'm a raised a country boy. So,
I know.
City slickers, I don't know.
I'm a city slicker.
You're a city slicker. You are definitely a city slicker. I don't know. I like that country.
How are we going to do these videos?
I don't know. How am I going to get help doing it? How are you going to come down and help me do these videos? How am I going to do my eye?
We already have it down. You know that.
Okay, we'll get it done. We'll get it done.
What's good today?
All right, so we're going to do some Q&A, but I wanted to, remember I've asked a couple of you to send your pictures in. You know, when you have some advanced conditions, I really like to see the pictures with them, and I know Chris doesn't always take them off because too much. You know, sometimes there's too much for us to handle. But if there's a serious case here, I'd like to take a look at that. So we have this case, and we'll just show you his eyes, or hers. Let me see who this is. This case is found at the Q&A video 357 at 39 minutes. Okay, so it's Q&A video 357 at 39 minutes. And this is a 17-year-old male who can't burp, can't eat, nausea with food, runs to bathroom to throw up after eating. So I wanted to take a look at his eyes and see what we have here. So he sent me a picture of his eyes, and let's take a look at that, okay? So give us a second here. We're going to arrange this and move this right in here. I need to, I had a bigger one here at one time, but who knows? We used it somewhere, maybe. I'll find a bigger one. Okay. All right. All right, so what we have here is we have a brown eye here. Are we in pretty good, Drew?
Perfect.
Okay. So let's start with his right eye up here. All right? So let's take a look at this. You see the light brown versus the dark brown? Well, this light brown is this gentleman's true color of his eye. The dark brown you see all over the place is chronic lymphatic stagnation, except for these radius solaris or any lacunas. Now he has a few lacunas here, basically in the pancreas and in the hip, in the appendix, and maybe a tad bit in the groin here. So there are some genetic weaknesses, but this is a strong constitution fella. You see these rings that go around the eye here. Underneath that ring, of course, you can see the true color of his eye, that light brown. But these are rings like the age rings on a tree. And of course, in iridology, we call those nerve rings. Or they used to say cramp rings, but really they're nerve rings. Truly, in my experience, this is the autonomic. This is when the autonomic, you generally don't see any aberration of fibers or anything in a healthy tissue. So when you start to see weaknesses, these fibers, which is hard to see in a brown eye, all these fibers that line up real close together and make this eye up, they augment. They become distorted. And we call those lacunas, crypts when they're deeper. You can call them lesions if you want, doesn't matter. But when you see these nerve rings here, this is the autonomic. That's the worker bee nervous system, and that comes out of chronic adrenals, where we go to the adrenal gland, right eye, right here, and above this right kidney, and that's chronic, a chronic adrenal gland. And you see that dark brown is all the way down in this kidney as well. So the bottom line, the gentleman is filtering fair, but not real good. The real genetic weakness in this eye is right where he's having the trouble. See how dark brown it is right around this pupil? That is a very chronic GI tract. And if you'll take a look right here, where you see this line going in toward the pupil and then coming back out here and then going up like this is a very spastic colon. This goes down to a very small level right here and then back up. Maybe a little prolapsing of the transverse, but this transverse bow that goes across the abdomen, goes across the top of the eyes. You see a top of the right, and the rest of it goes to the top of the left. These are the most of the genetic weakness. You see there's a dark lacuna, another lacuna, another lacuna. These are radius solaris. This one is in the pituitary, my friend, so it's shutting down your pituitary a little bit. You got the same thing up there. Then that can go to shut down thyroids, parathyroids, adrenals, and the like. And while we're in the left eye, let's take a look at the left kidney and adrenal gland, also in the chronic levels. So this young man at 17 years old, some pretty good genes, but got some things that are chronic. The kidney and adrenals, which is backing up some of the lymph system. But around the GI tract, he was born with chronic bowels for sure. His colon, big time prolapsus here in the splenic flexure. These weaknesses go into the left ear, up toward the mastoid and cerebellum, which is the equilibrium, dizzy center of the body. There's a little bit of a skin ring and a little suggestion that you're losing circulation. At 17 years old, he's showing some blood circulation problems. See how this is kind of a blue-violet hue? That blue-violet hue, and it almost looks like a cataract in the future for this young man. So this young man has to be real careful with acidosis. The problem in the stomach, and I see pancreatic here, maybe a tad of gallbladder, but mainly the bowels. So when you're having throwing up like that, it's probably, with these nerve rings like this, you probably have a little bit of gastroparesis or a little bit of paralysis of the stomach. And so brain and nerve formulas, adrenal formulas are always in the mix. When you have nerve rings, you always want brain and nerve formulas and adrenal gland formulas, because these are the myelin sheaths. This is a setup for shingles. You know, when you weaken tissues, then they're attacked. Nature attacks its weaknesses. It's just that simple. But in the long run, this gentleman has a great body here. Got to get into the bowels and clean them up. And first, he's got to get to eating. Got to be able to start eating. So sometimes we've talked about this. You have to go real slow. You have to chew in the mouth your food. Go real slow. Eat a very little bit. Sometimes you have to just eat like a little bit of applesauce with cinnamon, and maybe every half hour, every hour, to get your digestion back. Because it'll literally shut down on you. Your digestion will literally shut down to where you'll throw your food right back up. When you're throwing your food back up, then I have to say that gastroparesis is a top consideration, because that's what happens when you start getting paralysis of the stomach. But again, pretty good constitution here. Like I said, get in the kidney and adrenals here. You got a little bit of bladder maybe in lower back here a little bit, but I'd work on my pancreas as well, to a pancreatic formula 2-3 times a day is what I would be doing. Like I said, it's a good body to get healthy. The big long-term work is going to be on the gut, the GI tract. See how dark that is? And so that's going to be where most of the work is done there in the GI tract. Good. All right, good deal. So there's good things in this gentleman's future, and if he takes care of it all, it'll all be good. There we go. All right. Thank you, dude. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
More than welcome. Have fun.
All right. I always have fun.
Yeah.
These are my friends.
Give it.
Yeah. Look at that dark cloud. Rain is coming.
Not in the middle.
This was given me yesterday. Let's see. I have something called, for the life of me, all of us have a hard time trying to pronounce this one. Fordyce, which is swollen oil glands that can swell up the lips, the genitalia. And this gentleman has it all over his penis, these spots. These oil glands are in the mucosa, by the way, where all the oil glands are. So, oil, mucosa, what system might we be referring to? You know, it's funny. A lot of people just, when you realize all the roads lead to Rome, remember that? It's kind of what we're seeing in the United States. All the roads led to the United States. Of course, this has been called the Second Rome. So scary, But it's enough to say that guess which system. And so, believe this or not, all roads come back to the lymphatic system in most cases, to be honest with you. But when you understand symptomology and what that system is, it's the oil-based system, it's the acid-based system. So when you start seeing all these things like that, then it puts you right there where it is, the lymphatic system. No more confusion, no more, what's that? You know, because that's the system of swelling, bumps and humps, and all that sort of thing, you know. So you're coming back to that lymphatic system again here. It is described as an overactive sebaceous glands or misplaced. Yep, I know what it is. Dermatologists won't treat them and tell you it's just normal, everyone has them. You know, but this is the lymph system, and again, when you see swelling, you immediately know that's the lymphatic system, because the only swelling you'll get out of blood would be very short-lived. That couldn't be further from the truth. They don't treat them simply because they don't have an effective method. Thank you. You know, that's it. You know, and they don't know. But you know, one day when they get the lymph system and they catch this like you guys are, it should be their wow moment. But again, they're so locked and steeped in pharmaceuticals. I hope they make the change, you know, because there's just nothing you can do with the lymph system with pharmaceuticals except make it a whole lot worse. That's where you see all the steroid use, the chemotherapy use, all the insanity of I don't understand it, but let's kill it, let's attack it, let's, you know, that mentality. And of course that only kills people, as we all know. Their treatments are just temporary because the bumps just grow back over again. Exactly. See, when you reach a certain stagnation of the lymph system, and you got to also remember, we're talking about all these insane genetic weaknesses that we're looking at now. So when you take a look at all these genetic weaknesses, knowing that that also brings with it compromised lymphatic systems in those tissues, and then you add the whole systemic issue on top, it's just that most of your symptomology is in your genetics. That's where your weaknesses are. That's where you see most of the problems exist. So that's why detox is important, this regenerative detoxification, because you're digging deep within those interstitial levels in these genetically compromised areas, weakened areas, to get those hydrated and enhanced and get that lymph system moving better. Because until you do, it's hard to enhance the function of a cell when you're steeped with mucus and proteins and acids. Because they just set up the immune response, they set up everything that is immunoresponsive. Needless to say, these bumps affect a lot of mentally and lead to depression. Well, get rid of them. And detox, like I said, is the only way you're going to get these moving out of there. And I probably would, because the fear would be all connected to the prostate and testicles and all that could bring you in the future. You know, because when you start to see swellings and stuff, to me, that's the first sign of, I have a lymphatic problem, and if I don't fix it, I'm in trouble. And I have to tell you guys, it's in our face all the time. You know, this lady was coming in, shopping every once in a while, and she'd been on herbs for about 7 years off and on, you know, taking them here and there, and she'd been trying to do the diet, but tough on her, real thin. She'd had major bags under her eyes for years, and every time I'd see her in there, I'd say, you gotta fix your kidneys. Well, the other day she came in, and from her chest down, she looked like an elephant lady. And of course, up here, very emaciated. So I sent her to the clinic, the walk-in clinic over here, because I knew he was going to send her to the ER, and he sure did. Send her right to the ER. Well, they found, spleen, liver, and lung cancer. So you know, when you see that you're having some problems, you want to work this out, because it just seems to me in today's world we're seeing an escalation of these issues, because everything that comes down on us of the negative side is now enhanced. Radiation, your power lines, your chemtrails, the who knows what else, you know, in terms of in the air type of chemistry that's been being used. Then you have all your mental, all your electrical wavelengths. Look at all the channels of AM and FM and all that. So all your different wavelengths are getting crammed full of chatter. So this is a very loud planet. You know, a lot of people don't realize that noise pollution is also stressful. Matter of fact, they've done studies with that. Remember Noriega, and they went after him, and he took off and went to this church, and what they did is they brought in these big speakers, and they played heavy rock. And, of course, all the priests ran out after a while, and, of course, he finally gave up because after a while it'll drive you mad. You know, it's been proven that high decibel noises for any extended time can drive a person mad. So, they look like STDs even though they are not. I believe the only way to fix them is internally, and that's exactly right. You're right on point. Matter of fact, if you bring up a good question, you guys are really getting smart here, and I really love you guys. This is really good because you have to realize that all of it's internal. You know, when you see on the skin, that's not topical problems, it's coming from within. That's why you have to go inside and clean up the house. You know, just like any other house, you have to clean them up. I know Dr. Morse is very, very busy man with thousands of emails to read. Please pass this email around if need to be someone in your office who said, no, I got it. Shannon gave it to me. She didn't know quite how to answer that one. I just wanted to provide a little more context. I'm just 29 years old. Yeah, we need to fix this when you're still a young guy. In middle school, I had warts all over my hands that I still have scars from. Oh. Yeah, you know what? You're going to want to fix your adrenal glands too. You know, your sugars and all that, so get your endocrine glands back in shape again. And I would spend a while on Parasite M and get all these warts and moles or anything like that on your body off, showing that you're not, showing that your adrenals are down and you're not metabolizing. But that would have to be, your adrenals would have to be down, your kidneys would have to be down a little bit, at least not filtering, and that for interstitially, because when you start looking at these sort of things like this, you're getting into occlusions or blockages. And that's okay. That'll work too. I drink a lot. Thanks. Thank you. Oh, yuck.
No ice.
No ice. I like it cold. I'm an ice person, Matt. My body is so raging hot. Like I'm always on fire. Okay, 29 years old male. In middle school I had, okay, that's interesting. When I turned around 22, I started having cystic acne. Yeah, your lymph system's a mess. Yep. You see what I'm saying here? See how we can correlate this? You can correlate the bumps and humps, all of the cystic acne and stuff like this, and this is all your lymphatic system. So if you're 29 years old, bro, you really got to hit this. You really got to hit this and get this done, get your acne out of there. You got to get your kidneys filtering at your age, or you're going to lose the hair on your head and everything else. You know, and you just want to, deal with this now because this is the system of the tumors and all that is. So you don't want to, mess around with this one, especially when you're young, because that means your genetics are weaker than the ones above you in your genetic upline. It's like, ooh. I would get huge cysts in my beard because they ingrown hairs. Look at that. I would get steroid shots from dermatologists. Look at that crap. And every time they gave you a steroid shot, of course, it messed with your adrenal glands. So what they were doing is they were making the cause of this problem worse and trying to treat the symptom of it. And that's the worst thing you can do is whenever you make the cause of something worse by treating the symptom, and that's just what chemotherapy, that's totally oncology. Oncology needs to be removed. This is a killing machine like no other. Never seen anything like it. I've grown cysts or boils or abscesses in my buttocks. I got the picture. Yep. This is your lymph system, bro. But the interesting thing is at least your skin, at least it's moving to the skin. See, that's important, is it's trying to get out. See how it's moving to the skin to get out? Because you've only got a few doorways, and so this is what you see like that. But it just shows you how involved your lymph system is. I had a lot of styes in my eyes and some boils, but I was a milk drinker. I did not know. Nobody knew. And farmer guys, we drank milk. So as soon as I got rid of that, I never had that problem again. So it was just that, and of course I went in and cleaned my lymph system a little bit. And then I got it worse again by opening up a health food. This is a large learning curve sometimes for some of us. So if I can help some of you not go through a large learning curve, good. I know this is all absolutely related. It's related totally to one system. That's your lymphatic system. And remember, your lymphatic system is your kidneys, your adrenals, your skin, your thyroid. In the relationship to the heat to sweat is miles of lymph vessels, is your lymph nodes, which is your septic tanks. You could add the bacterium in the lymph nodes and the macrophages. This is all part of your lymph system. Of course, your lymphocytes also, all your different immune cells also are involved in working the lymph system. So this is a big deal, you know. Yeah, you're smart. This is true, my friend. I'm sure I need to move my lymph system, but it is any more advice or specific group of capsules you would recommend? Well, you know, when we're talking about these sort of things, I recommend, if you get on our line and you look at the 14-week protocol, you're looking at about where my thinking is in terms of protocols and herbal-wise. I'm always in the kidneys, and I'm always using 2 kidney formulas. I spread my differences in herbal recommendations between capsules and liquids. We have a ton of people with swollen esophaguses and stuff that cannot swallow capsules, so we can do all liquids. If you want, we do have a stomach and bowel number in a liquid tincture. I never thought I would do that, but Jennifer did it, and it works out pretty good, actually. I was surprised. But you want to always hit your kidneys, but now your kidneys are controlled by your adrenal. Remember, the glands control the organs, so the glands have to be dealt with because they control the kidneys. So there's the adrenals, and those sweetheart adrenals. So that's your nervous system, that's your emotions, that's your mineral utilization. I mean, that's a lot of stuff. That's your gonadal steroids. That's a lot. There's a lot going on in those 2 adrenal glands. Sugar metabolism, the whole 9 yards. So then I'm looking at that. I'm going into the GI tract. There's nobody with a healthy GI tract, so you're going into that. You want to go into that. So you're going into the main eliminative organs. I want to go to the skin. Well, liver herbs are great for the skin. So I know I need to work on everybody's liver just a little bit. Never hurts to work on the body's chemical factory. So I love to work on the liver gallbladder, knowing that those herbs are going to affect the skin in a positive way. And the skin being the 3rd kidney of the body. So I know by going on a liver gallbladder for about a month and a half, I'm also going to affect the skin. After that, I'm going to add the skin formula in replace of the liver gallbladder formula, because this is about elimination. Sorry about that. This is Grand Central Station. A lot of suffering people out there. Holy moly. But they're getting themselves well. This is good. All right, so this is another question from Miguel. It says, I was reading some articles where there is a lot of discussion about ketones being the fuel for the brain. Oh, yuck. They talk about coconut oil being good for the brain because of this. You know, and it makes me think of the nitric oxide. You know, people that are pushing that now, and it's like, are you kidding? Nitric oxide, an extreme poison. And yeah, it's a stimulant. Yeah, it can make a man do different things, and you know, it's just, that's how sick we are. And by taking these things, we can get a lot sicker, you know. Ketones is the very thing you worry about when you're a diabetic. Remember that? Breaking down lipids too fast. Okay, creating ketosis. You know, when you're getting into that, you're dealing in the carbohydrate side, you're dealing in the carboxyl side, you're dealing, which is the carbon side, you're dealing in the lipids, and that sort of thing. You know, I think this is just another one of, you look at our society out there that doesn't understand what you guys understand, and this is the kind of stuff you see. Nitric oxide and ketone treatments, and it's like, whoa, I know a lot of people would prefer not to have ketones problems. So, you know, it's just how they twist things. What should be excreted out of the body, they turn and make it some kind of advantage health thing. It's like, what? So I don't know what to say about that. Now it appears that the liver has to process this fast to produce the ketones which go to the brain. Ketones is a byproduct of oxidation, my friend, of your secondary alcohols. I mean, this is the problem with that. You don't want too many ketones. It creates the same thing as acidosis. You know, this is a big deal here. What's interesting, if it has a high triglycerides in the first place, it seems my liver is not converting fast into ketones for starters. Well, for starters, if you're not breaking down your lipids, you probably are going to get your humps and your dumps. You're going to get your lipomas and everything else. So, but you also want to make sure you're absorbing your fatty acids in the first place, and that goes to the GI tract again, to the small bowel, your small bowel wall, permeability, your lymphatic system, the stagnation of that within the wall, all of those things leading to that. Hence, it makes sense to treat the liver to normal levels, and triglycerides should lower to normal levels currently at 380, 450. Wanted to get your opinion on this topic because I thought it was very interesting. There wasn't a lot of discussion on this topic in Dr. Morse's book. Yeah, because I tell you why. I've made an extreme effort to keep things simple. And when you're getting into things like this, you're getting into a big-time controversy, in my opinion. And I'm very controversial when it comes to things like that, and nitric oxide and playing with these things. I wrote that book to keep things very, very simple as I could. And at the same time, give you some education about A&P, anatomy and physiology a little bit, and a little different take on that. I really need to bring that book up to date. I mean, it's good, 10, 12, 15 years old. But it's enough to say that I wouldn't even get into my mind going into that channel. I would turn that channel off and not worry about it. I would go into my body, and if your eyes show a liver gallbladder weakness, fix it. And get into your proper foods for your body and go that way instead of worrying about ketones for the brain, because the problem with worrying about that side of it is just, you know, you don't want to get involved in any type of supplementation or any type of dealing with ketones, in my opinion. Yes, the body uses chemistry, byproducts of chemistry for things, but a lot of things need to be excreted properly and not used, introduced back into the body. And so that's why I try to keep everything simple, because the complexity is something we can talk about with practitioners and things, but with the general public, complexities lead to confusion. And I even in my own world, I keep it simple. To be honest with you, I don't need to sit and articulate these, because there's not a friggin' thing you can do about any of this unless you enter the world of regenerative detoxification. You can play around with supplementations and things like this, playing these kind of games, even with the nitric oxide game. It's like, are you serious? So it's the ignorance of our society, and man grabbing for straws, man meaning male and female, grabbing for straws because they don't know how to get well. And when you realize the simplicity of wellness and you go down the wellness road, you don't need to think about these things. You really don't need to go into these things. All right. This is Lee. Hey, Lee. Hello, I am from France. Lee from France, huh? I'm almost 21 years young. I am very muscular, not get at all. I just have a little fat on my belly and my thighs are touching. It's nothing. And I eat really well. I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables on the weekend, and I always do a lot of sports for fun. Well, that sounds good, but I can't lose the fat that is on my belly and my adductors. What should I do? You know, check on your adrenal glands. You know, work on your adrenal glands and the health of your adrenal glands. Make sure your lymphatic system's filtering properly through the kidneys, that sort of thing. And keep on that high raw. I would probably go 100% raw. And I would pay attention to my adrenals and fix them up, get my kidneys filtering, clean out my bowels, and then watch the tone and tightness come from that. I've had a similar problem in my life. But at one time I got into the Wielders program, because that's high proteins and stuff like that. It's bodybuilding. Of course, I'm a farm boy, so we were always working anyway. And so, But you know what? I look back on those years too and go, oh no, I filled my body full of proteins and protein shakes, and of course then no wonder I'm having kidney issues, or you know, in that side of it. So it's like, oh. But you know, this is the nature of the planet you're on. There's a tremendous amount of unawareness here. And I don't know what to say about it. You know, as we grow, as consciousness expands itself and it learns by itself, then, you know, but that's the point. We need to learn and allow the consciousness expand. It seems like we're just kind of circulating. So that's what I would do, Lee, to go after that. I'd go to 100% raw. Take a look at my adrenal glands, get that up. You know, just go after the health of my body a little more and let my body redesign itself in that way. This is Noel. Dear Dr. Morse, I live in New Zealand. Ooh, I love New Zealand. I've never been there, but I have studied it. I've, you know, Mutt and of course at the time Eileen, Shania, they had about 67 or 68,000 acres that they bought. Beautiful. I saw the pictures. Beautiful place. So I don't know whatever happened to that place. I was diagnosed with terminal stage 4 lung cancer. Oncologist gave me 3 to 6 months to live. Give me 10 SES radiations. No chemo. Tumor on the left lung bigger than a golf ball. It spread to one rib on the right side. I got IV vitamin C highest level. Plus apricot kernels.Cancer now spread to right lung too, and another one on the rib. Change to ESSIAC treatment. Please, can you help me? I am desperate, Noel. You betcha, Noel. I would call in, Noel, and get an appointment if you can. They're not expensive. And talk to Marcy or Attila. But here's the thing, all right? When you wake up to lung cancer, notice how you said that it's moving. That's medical doctor thinking. Cancer doesn't move. You're dealing in a systemic problem. And when you wake up to a tumor, you're having a systemic, meaning inside head to toe problem with one of your systems. Well, what do they call, what's another name for lung cancer? Lymphoma. Okay, so what word are we using? Lymphatic. And that's because these are the lymphatic system. Okay, so that's what you have to understand. What is the lymphatic system? This is why you're seeing it popping. You're just popping all over the place. That's because radiation, you know, these guys are so bad. Knowing that radiation is cancer causing, that it'll only reduce a tumor because you're frying it, only to explode. And all the other cells you burn past and around that now becomes cancer cells. So these guys are idiots that do this. More than that, these are borderline criminals. I mean, you got to stop and look at this from a different position. And what it's doing to people, for the sake of what? For the sake of a very short-term reduction of a tumor, you're going to compromise that patient so bad to make it even... Because once you start frying tissue on top of acidosis, things just explode. So as you're seeing it happen to you right now, I call it the residual kick. You get it with chemo and you get it with radiation, both of them. But you get it with the use of steroids, with acne and other factors as well. Whatever you suppress today is your nightmare tomorrow. So you're just seeing your nightmare tomorrow coming. So this is where you go. You're stage 4. Doesn't mean you're terminal, not at all. So what I want you to do is put yourself on a grape and lemon juice diet for the next 40 days. 40 days. If you have to cheat now and then to keep your sanity, okay. But keep yourself focused as much as you can. A 40-day, and you just keep going day by day. You make it the first 2 or 3 days, you're good. And once you get past those first 2 or 3 days, the rest of them are a piece of cake. Every day is not a struggle. Only your first 2 are your biggest struggles. You get past the first couple of days, you're on and going. And that's what I'd be doing. You're going to get a bunch of stuff up out of those lungs. I would not juice too much. When you've got lung cancer, guys, you don't want to do a lot of liquids, because the next stage this fella can be in is the edemic stage, where the lungs are filling up with fluid. that is not a fun stage. It's not a death stage, but it is if you don't do this. It is your death stages if you don't do this. But you just simply go to the hospital and have them aspirate your lungs, which they'll pull this fluid out of your lungs. It doesn't matter how many times we have to do it. We can still stop this after you get going. At a certain point, the fluid will stop and you'll start reversing. But you've got to get on an herbal program. My opinion, you want to hit this. So I would call in here and get myself on our herbs real bad. And I would do the whole protocol. The whole 14-week protocol, or we'll write you one. But you want to get on the kidney herbs, the lymphatic herbs. I mean, you're going after this. The bowel herbs, you're going after this aggressively. You don't want to sit there and whistle Dixie with this one. Now, I tell you what, you could get the 3-lung tea. That's fenugreek, pleurisy, and mullein. And those are tumor busters. Now, as much as you can say an herb is a tumor buster, because you got to remember what a tumor is. A tumor is there because you have reached a saturation of fluids and you can't handle anymore. Edema setting in, the lymph is stagnant, and now you have an increase of fluids. So the body creates these holding tanks, these closets, if you will. That's all a tumor is. The body is holding all this acid sewage in these pockets. They will eliminate these pockets if the doorway opens up. If not, there more pockets will form. This is all about stagnation of a fluid with a blowback intracellular. Think about that. This is a stagnation of a fluid, meaning that your kidneys and a lot of times your skin loses its filtration. You can no longer sweat. You can no longer filter acids out of the kidneys. And so what's happening is now everything's staying home. Well, those are the kind of kids you don't want to stay at home, because these are the acids, and these they don't take no prisoners. They're corrosive. So you want to jump in this. I disagree with your ascorbic acid vitamin C treatment. That is acidic. It'll not create hardening of your arteries. There's no way vitamin C opens up kidney filtration or function. It is not a tumor buster. This is nothing. This is actually can create more problems. So this is just another idiocy that's out there. And what we're seeing now is hardening of the arteries from this. This is a big serious deal here. You're trying to treat your cancer and you can't, or what they call cancer, and it's not. You have a whole system down that you've got to fix. Can't fix a system, can't get over this. You can't treat this either. You've got to get into, you're actually using chemistry and physics to get into the body to repair and rebuild these areas and to hydrate and get this fluid on the anionic side. You're on the cationic side now. Now we're going to move you to the anionic side, which means your ingestion has to be base dominant. In other words, your chemistry has to be alkaline dominant. And that's your fruits, your berries, your melons, and your vegetables. Well, we know vegetables will slow you up at this level. So, ixay on the vegetable say. You can't do vegetables with stage 4. You're running on the top line here. You got to get on the top of the mountain to get this out of you. And I would dry fast for a couple of days to see if I can get my kidneys opened up even quicker. Dry fast at least 24 hours. They're only golf ball sized tumors, so you're pretty good at this point, but you want to get them out now. Apricot, kernels, Laetrile. Okay, we talked about that in the last video. The only good of Laetrile is, and I wouldn't get it through the kernel, I would find Laetrile underground or go to Mexico and get it through the Contreras or one of the clinics there. But, it really just loosens up tumors. It's an oil, really, so it really just loosens up tumors. If you're looking at it as a win-win, forget it. Forget it. I used to use and sell apricot kernel oil, kernels, Laetrile itself, and I can just say that that's another no-brainer. You need to go up higher on this pole. You got to get everything opened up. Your kidneys filtering, your skin filtering, everything opened up, and you're going to be coughing up some nasty stuff, I have to tell you. I've never done a lung cancer case in my world without a lot of nasty stuff coming up. Green, black, brown. So expect a lot of expectoration of mucus. Hopefully your sinuses will drain with this as well. So the ESSIAC, no, get away from the ESSIAC. Our Heal All Tea is far superior to ESSIAC. I used ESSIAC years and years and years ago before I made my herbs. I don't like turkey rhubarb. There's some herbs in there that I think is a no-brainer. You want to power up, baby. ESSIAC's a baby tea. You're talking about, you want to get on our lymphatic 5. That's your man about town. ESSIAC's a baby tea. You really want to get with this one. I would get on the lung formula, lung number 2. I'd go on 2 kidney formulas, an adrenal, lymphatics, of course. I would do a lymphatic, maybe a 1 to start out with, the capsule, a number 5 lymph node. Really go in there and start opening this up because, you know, this is lung cancer stage 4. Nothing to play around with, and I put myself on a 40-day or whatever I can do. 40-day grapes, darker ones the better, with lemon juice or grapefruit juice, and go after this. Get on the lungs too. Maybe sip the 3 lung tea to help break up any hardened areas of that, if that golf ball size is hardened. But you're just seeing the lymph system spread. But you didn't let them burn you. You let them burn you with radiation, so that's the problem. You have a residual kick from that. And that means everything's getting worse on you. There's not getting better with radiation or chemo. And why they do it on people is only a monetary reason. Someday, maybe our law enforcement will wake up and end this siege of insult to the human tissue and the humans, you know, for just a basic lack of understanding how the body works. I cannot pronounce your name at all. Giedrius. Sorry about that. The last name is much longer. Good day, dear beloved Dr. Morse, and good day to you, my dear one. I apologize with the name. Without any further ado, I'll bug you a bit. All right. Are you going to have a Level II Detox or Iridology class this year? I am. Matter of fact, we're going to do it in September. We're doing a 5-day. 4-day is Iridology. And so let me back up just a little bit. Day 1, I'm going to get you guys back on protocols. I need to know you can write protocols. Someone comes in here with stage 4 lung cancer, what protocol do you put them on? That's what you've got to learn. So day 1, we're going back and go over protocols because we still at level 1. We didn't have a chance to go into the depth of that. So first day's level 1 is going back into protocols. What herbs do you use when you have problems? The next 3 days is of the Iridology, of course, and that's all. How do you write a protocol from what you see? I teach you how to read the eyes, and how do you write an herbal protocol from what you're seeing? You know, how do you determine your client from what you're seeing in the eye? Fun stuff. The 5th day is not part of the seminar. The 5th day is a fun day. I think Micah might be doing a crystal workshop or something like that. I think we're going to have Tibetan bells. We're going to have different workshops. Artie's going to have some workshops there. Our association. We're going to be doing some things about Costa Rican projects. So I have some musicians maybe that can come. So we want to have a day of fun. Just a day of fun, classes and workshops and stuff like that. No heavy stuff. So, yeah. Have a few vacation days left for this year and would love to come back to Florida to spend time with you in the classroom. Love you. Would love to see you there, bro. Love to see you there. Yeah, we had fun at that one too. I thought our last one was a lot of fun as well. Now, this one I definitely want to make sure you guys get the protocols down because that's what this is all about. What do I do? What do I do when I wake up or I have someone waking up to a serious problem? What do I do? Well, the first thing you do is realize what the problem is. When you sit back, take a deep breath and realize we've been living in fantasy land in the world of diseases, that's all made up kind of stuff from people, all these names of medical doctors and symptomology, ridiculous. So it's enough to say you want to know what really is going on. What's the cause of this? And we're at the 21st century. We all know the cause of this. Just because you have in a group that doesn't mean we all don't. You know? So this is the thing, is you have to step back and realize that 99.99% of symptomology deals with acidosis and the lymphatic system. and the effect that has on what you're seeing. When you look at symptoms that a person has and you back that symptom up and you start asking yourself, what side of chemistry is this symptom on? Which system then is this on? And it's going to come to this system and acids every single time. And that's how simple this is. And then you just have to learn what protocols you're going to use. I'll tell you what, I'm 15.
I guess I'll go home.
Huh?
I guess I'll go home.
Well, wait. We'll be good. So you just got to know the system that it's in, and that's easy because there's only 2 fluid-based systems in the body and then everybody else's cells. So pretty soon you have to ask yourself, is this symptom caused by a fluid? Well, how do I get to a cell in the first place in the human body? How do I affect a cell in the first place? Well, there's only 2 things that flow around every cell in your body, blood and lymph. And that's what they call interstitial fluid. Well, that interstitial fluid is only 20% blood and 80% lymph. See, so the bulk of the fluid is in the lymphatic system. So when you get that, and you get that the lymph system is your sewer system, immune system, your lubricating system, blah, 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 it starts to make sense. All right, this is Joe. I found out I was in 3rd stage kidney failure last August. And this is the thing, so many people are in kidney failure, it's unbelievable. And it's more than you could ever imagine. And if you don't even know it yet, it's kidney filtration. You know, you might go years without filtering kidney. This is the problem. You can literally go years without filtering the kidneys and don't even know it, except you start to notice the lower back. That starts to tweak you. Oh, it's that lower back. That's your kidney bladder connection. And so that's L4, L5 down. So, and you to get tumors, it takes years sometimes for the lymph system to get into the chronic levels to where you get tumors and stuff. You get a lot of early warning signs, swellings, mumps, measles, all the little childhood disease type things. Those are all lymphatic things. You know, so when you look at those things, you're starting to see, whoa, wow, a lot of kids are having lymphatic problems. Shouldn't be having those things. So that's when you start looking and start realizing that when you wake up to stage 3 and 4 and all these advanced stages, these are advanced stages that your body's been breaking down for years. And maybe, and the sick thing about this is that these young, beautiful souls are coming in with these young bodies waking up to very serious problems. All the 20-year-olds, the 15-year-olds are waking up to some serious genetic weaknesses. And so it's up to us to bring light into this world and expose the truth of this so these beings can fix themselves up. And that's just what we're doing. And you guys are doing a great job. I'm real pleased with that. Okay, so went to a nephrologist who did blood tests, sonograms, everything fine. By January, stage 4. See what I'm saying? You know, that's why I'm saying when you realize how the road to Wellville includes kidneys, the lymphatic system, the GI tract, and you start seeing the simplicity of that. You start realizing that we all have to walk down this same road. There's no getting away from that. To get well, then we just do that. We all have to walk down this road. For you to go to a nephrologist and everything's fine, and now you're in stage 4, that there again, we're back to a medical doctor that failed, and now you're in that. And I'll tell you, if I'd have had a picture of your eyes and your blood work, that's all I'd have needed. And you would have been well on your way back then to getting yourself well. And he wants me to wait until August to see where it is. You know what? You get that picture. I get it in your message, Joe. Yeah, right. Well, let's just wait. Let's just wait. You know what? Let's just don't wait. Let's don't wait on him. Let's get yourself fixed up. So you get on 2 kidney formulas. You want on a kidney a kidney capsule and a kidney tincture. With that, get yourself on the 14-week protocol. Don't mess around. You lose the kidneys, you lose your life. So don't mess around with this. What's your creatinine by? When you guys say you're in kidney failure stuff, give me your creatinine levels. That's in your blood work. Give me your creatinine levels and let me see where that is. He thinks I should get another opinion. Wait a minute. See, I have a new internist who is fixing my hypothyroidism and asthma. How can an internist fix hypothyroidism and asthma? Yeah, there's no such thing as medical doctors fixing these things unless they know this level of thinking or something close to it. So, take a look at this. You're hypothyroid and you've got asthma. Well, what's asthma? That is your adrenal glands. That's a remember we talked a lot about asthma being the neurological side of pneumonia. Neurological side of that is your COPD chain. And so he thinks I should get another opinion. Then I found you, and I've been on 100% fruit fast for 5 days. Now you're doing it. Now you're on the road to Wellville. Internist says it won't hurt me. Yeah, well, we value his opinion. It has helped arthritis, pain, and energy. What do I do now? You stay 100% raw until you get out of renal failure. And you get on kidney herbs, you get on a lymphatic herb, you clean up your bowels, you clean your body up, you'll pull yourself out of renal failure, you get yourself filtering, you'll get yourself out of lymphatic problems, you'll fix hypothyroid real easy. All these things will fix up real easy. Your asthma, your nervous system will go up, you'll clean up your lungs, everything will go away. But it'll go away you want to, because this is, nothing ever good. So remember, your kidneys control your lymphatic system, which is the system of your cancers, your tumors, and all that. So don't mess around with this, Joe. Hit it on. Go right for it. Stay on a fruit, berry, and melon diet as long as you can. If you want a salad, okay. If you don't have any tumors or anything, okay. Stay with. You can do some green drinks and stuff with this, but get those kidneys restored. You must restore your kidney function back. And so go for it. You can do this. I wouldn't mess around there. No one's going to fix these things unless you do. And you have all the keys to. If you need help, get a client to help. Get a counselor here to help you with that. But that's what I would do. And we have plenty of stage 3s and 4 kidney failure. Pull yourself out of this. You haven't mentioned dialysis or anything, so I take it you're not on dialysis yet. Avoid that. Watch your creatinine levels and get yourself out of trouble, my dear one, because it's not fun to go further into this world of kidney failure. Nothing ever good comes of kidney failure. It's a death sentence. Love you guys. I'll be back after lunch. I want to keep going with this, and so we're going to take a few minutes, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.